Uh, as usual, I've been just crazy busy. I'm going to do a few reviews though that I've been wanting to do for a while now. One of them was requested by somebody in the community, and I've been meaning to do this for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. And it is a comparison video from two clone house versions of a hybrid. The hybrid is Sauvage mixed with Aventus. And the two clone houses are Dua's Savage Poseidon and Dapper's Royal Sky. So I wanted a comparison video. Like I said, I like doing these. I think it's interesting seeing how different clone houses kind of match up to each other, how they compare, how they differ. And I just think it's helpful for the fragrance community to have that information. When there's a lot of choices out there, especially with newer clone houses coming out. There's been a recent influx of clone houses. So it can be a lot of options. It can be a little daunting, to know what to go with. And, a lot of people don't order multiple versions of the same thing. I like to do that because like I said, I think it's interesting to compare the quality or the scent profiles of the scents. So anyway, the actual video. I'm going to start with Royal Sky, Dapper's interpretation. I will say I've noticed with only two of my Dapper bottles, of all of them I've ever bought, but they have this issue where if you can see around the collar, it's wet. For some reason it leaks. I don't know if it's because it's a cheap decant bottle or if just a few of them are defective. Like I said, most of them aren't like this, and it's not a whole lot, but if you wipe it off, it'll come back. I had this with a recent Leighton bottle I had bought off of somebody in the community. Same problem. But like I said, it's not really a big deal. I just thought it was worth noting. But like I said, the majority of mine don't have that issue. So as with all Dapper fragrances, great cloud. Atomizers are great. Scent on this is great. The opening is very much Sauvage, but you do get the smoke from the Aventus, and you get the citruses really come out as well. It's just such a good combination. Both Sauvage and Aventus are both very masculine fragrances, and I love them. I think they're both very good. I prefer Aventus personally, just because Sauvage tends to have a very peppery dry down. I think the opening of Sauvage is fantastic, especially the EDT, because the citrus is very bright. But as it dries down, to me, it can kind of just smell like pepper. Whereas an Aventus, when you get the dry down, it is, to me, the best part of the scent. That smoky vanilla dry down is just, to me, intoxicating. So I prefer Aventus. But anyway, the opening of this, you get that Sauvage, you get the nice bright crispness from the Sauvage EDT. And the nice thing about this is you still get the Aventus as well. You can smell, some of the smoke, the vanilla, citrus. But when it dries down, instead of just getting that pepper that, Sauvage kind of really just gets on the dry down, you have the Aventus in there as well. So it's just like this more spicy, peppery, kind of more ambroxany Aventus. And I think it's unique. I think it smells great. I think the two scents work great together. So like I said, Royal Sky is one of my favorites from the Dapper line. I have a lot that I like from Dapper, but that is one of my favorites. It's because it's unique. And it's just done so well. So here's Dua's version, Savage Poseidon. Again, Dua's got great atomizers too. The opening of this is very similar. It's also Sauvage dominant. It's sweeter than Royal Sky. It has just a sweetness to it that is not there in Royal Sky. Now, both of these have great performance, good projection. So they're good on that. They're around the same price. Dapper's is a little cheaper, but if you get Duas on sale, they come out to about the same. Dapper's Royal Sky, that's part of their you know, highest line, and it's $35 for 30 mil. Savage Poseidon's 55 for 30 mil, but with 25% off, 30% off, you're looking at about the same price. Again, main difference between these two for me, both smell good. Savage Poseidon is just sweeter. Yeah, it's sweeter. Royal Sky's not. I mean, they have similar dry downs, but again, I guess to me, Royal Sky just leans slightly more masculine because of that. It doesn't have the same sweetness. For whatever reason, Savage Poseidon, the dry down is sweeter. If you prefer that, if you like sweet fragrance, it's not cloying, it's not gourmand, obviously. It's just a slight sweetness that's there that's not present in the Royal Sky. Otherwise, honestly, the dry downs smell very similar. Um, they both open with a very prominent Sauvage note, but you can still smell the Aventus. Like I said, you have that, um, you know, vanilla smokiness that you get in the opening. You get the Ambroxan from the Sauvage. You will smell that in the dry down as well. So they both turn into this very unique fragrance. If I really had to, choose between the two or say what sets them apart, it would be, I believe, Dapper Royal Sky just tends to lean a little more masculine. It's a little more spicy. It's a little more, I won't say in your face, but just loud, I guess. Whereas Savage Poseidon's kind of a more smoother, sweeter dry down, but otherwise they are very similar. Like I said, performance on both is good. Yeah, I mean, the Savage Poseidon, I will say the dry down has kind of more of a, I guess, a heavier Aventus note than the Royal Sky. Royal Sky still smells more like Sauvage, although you do smell the Aventus in the dry down. So that's really what sets them apart. Is Royal Sky is going to be, again, it's going to lean more masculine. It's going to be more spicy. It's going to not have that sweetness, and it's more Sauvage dominant even in the dry down. The Savage Poseidon has more Aventus coming out than Royal Sky. It's sweeter and just, I guess, smoother. I'm not saying it's good or bad as far as it being smoother. I'm not saying it's a better fragrance necessarily. Honestly, I prefer Royal Sky, if I'm being 100% honest. I think they're both great. And I actually probably get slightly better performance out of the Duo version, but they both do perform very well. I'm talking maybe half an hour extra out of the Duo version, maybe. But they're both good. Again, it's what you're looking for. I like masculine fragrances. So in this regard, I prefer Royal Sky, and I also don't really like the sweetness with the Sauvage. That's just my personal opinion. It's not overly sweet, like I said, but they're both great. Again, it's just going to be what you like in a fragrance. If you want more of that Sauvage, if you want more of the Aventus, that's probably what should be the decision maker on your end, or if for whatever reason you just want to support one of the two companies. So yeah, so they're both great options, both around the same price.